Welcome to the second video in our series exploring the sun from the point of view of Shamanic Astrology. I'm Kaylin Castell. I'm here with the rest of the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School Facebook team, including Tammy Brunk, Kate Resco, and Dana Zia. If you missed our first video, it is posted on the social media team page at shamanicastrology.com and also on our Facebook page. You can find it there as well, but you have to scroll down now, I think, to get to it. So in the first video, we talked about how sun sign astrology has only been around since about the 1800s, and maybe around 150 years or so, and why we see the sun as the fuel or the energy that we use to reach fulfillment in this life. And in this video, we're going to explore the sun signs as from their elements, and we're going to go through each sun sign and express what that is from the perspective of the element. So and then in our next video, we'll look at the shadow. But in this one, we're just going to look at the healthy expressions of what each sun sign is as it expresses through that element. And I'm going to start with water, and that is the feeling element. It has to do with the ways that we have ability to perceive the subtlest possibilities, being sensitive to our surroundings. We could think of water in our bodies. It's what carries the nutrients to each of the cells. It also carries away the toxins. Water has the power to dissolve mountains and carve out Grand Canyons and really over time, and sometimes very quickly, change entire landscapes depending on if it's a tsunami that's coming in or if it's just the slow process of water going through change over time. So it allows us to work with the unconscious forces and that are there, that are something that we're not necessarily always in touch with, and it operates through the feeling function. So the challenge or the opportunity that we have is to really understand the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, as operating from the feeling element. So if you are a Pisces sun, you're operating then from universal love, kindness, compassion, caring, how to be there to be of support to others who are going through whatever experiences they may be going through, to be in touch with the mystical, with the divine, and with that place of universal love, as I mentioned. If you have a Cancer sun, your energy is most alive when you're operating from healthy nurturing of self and others, connecting with family or those you care about in ways that create a safe space for everyone to be who they are. If you're a Scorpio sun, your energy is most alive when you're engaging activities that feel passionately alive for you. You may be sensitive to how others are feeling, but it's not your concern. And your focus is engaged in the greatest amount of juicy, exciting, life force energy that will ideally, in some way, magically manifest your true heart's desire. So those are the sun signs as they express through the water element. And now I believe we've got Tammy going to share with us.
Yes, so I want to share a little bit about the fire element because I'm a Sagittarius sun, and each of us actually are taking the element that represents our own sun sign. So as you listen, just tune in and just kind of see if you can sense into as well this specific style or energy that we carry. We embody it as well. So fire is it has to do with this kind of active life force energy that inspires us, that energizes us. Something to understand about fire is that it can't exist in and of itself. It needs something to burn, some kind of a matrix like wood or coal or gas. Also, it needs air in order to keep it stirred up and keep it alive. And so a fire element person actually needs a lot of input, needs a lot of continuous kind of, needs to be connected to the other elements in a sense. But a fire sign sun person tends to be action-oriented, tends to be expansive. Also, there's the intuitive function that's a very strong part of fire. When you're a fire person, you tune into things, you learn about things in a really kind of a bigger, faster kind of way, and a feeling kind of way. It's strange. You know, water is about feeling, but in a way, fire is also about a kind of intuitive feeling around things. So it's, for me, I really, I feel like one of the things that I've recognized with fire, with my Sagittarius fire, is that it is, this is something that Kaylin and I were talking about at one point with the Venus work that we do, where we kept thinking we need to write this book, but instead we kept creating new online classes. And I was like, Kaylin, why do you think we're doing this? And she's like, we're fire signs. We get bored really easily. We want to move to the next thing. And I'm like, yeah, that can be true. So we want it to be creative and flowing and new and fresh and vibrant and inspiring, you know, like just keep forging into new territory. And that's definitely a Sagittarius thing. It's also an Aries thing. It's also a Leo thing. But I'll say Sagittarius fire is really focused on the path of spirit. You know, it's really about how is it that I can really continually expand my vision of the future, my vision of what's actually true. It's really this passion and this active movement towards spiritual truth. For Leo, that fire is kind of like this radiant, this way that the individual carries this radiant kind of beaming light, where they're here to express, to act from a place of their own sovereign I am essence. And that's kind of true for Aries as well. But for Aries, there's also this kind of really charging forward, moving ahead in a bold way, pioneering, forging new territory. So there's this energy of forward movement, often quite impulsive as well. So, and then in another video we'll talk about shadows. We'll talk more about that. But that's just a little touch about the elements, the element of fire, and the signs.
Awesome. So I've taken on air, although I have to admit I don't have my sun in an air sign, but I do have the moon and Mercury, so I think I can speak to a bit. So air is the mental realm, and here is where we get a lot of perspective. Air brings a lot of changeability, flexibility. You know, air, it's hard to contain air. It's kind of a very free thing, and it travels quickly. So if your sun is in an air sign, you might find you need that kind of stimulation of change, of meeting different people, like a lot of diversity in your life. You have a lot of curiosity for what other people are thinking. It likes to know things, obviously, because it is a mental sign. So the three signs that are in air are Gemini, and Gemini is about the creative muse. So it is an exploration of the mind and all the facets of the mind and all the ways of knowing. And it's a very social sign, loves to meet people. So if you have a Gemini sun, you probably find that you are injecting that into the rest of your chart. And so you're probably adding that bit of a creativity and social side of yourself into everything. The next sign is Libra, and Libra is a very relational sign. It does learn about itself through relationship. But the particular thing about Libra in the air is that it really kind of, although it does see people for who they are, it does stand also on its own. It's not only identifying itself through its relationship. So again, there is that sense of freedom also in Libra, even though it is relational. And then the last one is Aquarius. And Aquarius is the visionary. It is about getting really the highest perspective possible, really detaching. And that's also a big element out of air, is that sense of detachment from the denser planes. So if your sun is in Aquarius, you might find you need that space to sort of detach from things. And let's say I was thinking, you know, if you have a lot of water in your chart, but you have an Aquarius sun, then that Aquarius sun will allow you really to get the perspective on all those emotions that you're feeling all the time. So any sun sign in an air sign can help you with that. And it does that, I think, for all the elements. For fire, it kind of does give that perspective, because fire can really want to go its own way, and air goes, oh no, actually there are other perspectives out there. And then for earth as well, earth can be so grounded that it may not necessarily get into movement, but then air will kind of give it that vitality it needs. So on to you, Dana.
Thank you, Kate. That was great. I obviously am doing the earth sign, the earth element, and I have a Taurus sun, and So we'll just start with Taurus. The earth elements are very grounded, very practical, loaded with common sense, and have a real sense of, well, earthiness, for lack of a better word. And they, in Taurus, is the spring sign of the earth elements. And so if you have a Taurus sun, you tend to go at things with, how can I enjoy this? How can I drink in living on earth and being a part of earth? And oh, how can I taste and enjoy and be a part of this earth? That's more the spring perspective of the earth element of Taurus. And it's also very much a sign that is committed to self-exploration. And self-exploration is, you know, one of the what Taurus is about, is the self-exploration of earth. And then if you have a Virgo sun, like Kate did, or does, excuse me, did, then you are committed more to exploring earth through in service to spirit. It's the sign of the priestess. So she is like the earth priestess that is committed to the earth and the upkeep of the earth and the concerns of the earth. And she's very much a very important practical earth goddess that we all look to for the patterns of the earth. And that's how, so if you have a Virgo sun, you see things more through that lens. And then, of course, we have our beautiful practical Capricorn sun. And the Capricorn sun is a cultural bearer. They're very much committed to family and the 7 generations forward and backwards and our ancestral lineage and how to keep things practical, earth-based, and grounded, and of course very organized for the earth, for their communities, for their families. Very much committed to that structure. And so that earth element, through their lens, they definitely experience the rest of their chart from that culture perspective. And these are, you know, and like I said, earth is very grounded, practical, common sense, fixed, you know, steadfast, loyal. And these are, you know, very much the keepers of the earth.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for watching, and we hope you'll join us for our next video coming soon.